Welcome to your deep dive. Okay, so get this. Today, we are diving into the world of Formula One model cars. But not just any collection, we're talking about your collection.
And let me tell you, looking at this list, you've got some serious firepower here. I mean, Niki Lauda's Ferrari, a couple of Senna-era McLarens.
Right, it's like a who's who of F1 legends. This isn't just a shelf of cars, it's practically a museum.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so interesting, right? Because we're not just talking about NMA model cars. These are connected to some really big moments in F1 history.
Okay, so then how do we even begin to figure out what these models might be worth in the wider world of F1 collectibles?
Well, there are a few things to consider. First off, rarity, limited edition runs, special collections. Those always get collectors excited and drive up the value.
Okay, so I see you've got a few Senna-era McLarens listed. Any chance those are from that Mini Champs Senna collection? I feel like I've heard of those.
Oh yeah, those are super collectible. If you've got some of those in the mix, especially in good condition, that's definitely a good sign.
Well, speaking of the good condition,
Yeah.
there's one from, I think it's the 1990 season, commemorating Senna's second championship win, and it's still in the original packaging, like mint condition. That has to be a good thing,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Think of it like this. A scratch on a classic car, it instantly reduces the value. Same goes for model cars. The closer to pristine, the higher the potential value.
Makes sense, makes sense. So condition is key. What else? What else should we be thinking about?
Well, we got to talk about provenance.
Provenance.
Yeah, it's a fancy way of saying backstory. Was the model owned by a driver? Was it a gift from a team? Anything that ties it directly to F1 history.
Oh, wow. So it's like owning a piece of F1 history, not just a model.
Exactly. And that kind of historical connection, huge for collectors. It's like, finding a baseball signed by Babe Ruth.
Totally, totally. And speaking of signed stuff, I see a note here about a signed Ayrton Senna model. What's the story there?
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Signed models, especially by someone like Senna, that's special. You've got the legendary driver, the historical significance, and then that personal touch of the signature. That's the kind of provenance that can make a model incredibly valuable.
This is fascinating. Okay, so we've got rarity, condition, provenance. What about the actual craftsmanship of the model itself? Does the maker matter?
Absolutely. Some brands are just in a different league when it comes to detail and quality. You've got a couple of Exodos listed and some Quartzo models too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Those are big names. They're known for their craftsmanship. It's like the difference between I don't know, a Timex and a Rolex. Both tell time, but the craftsmanship and prestige are on different levels.
Right, so we've got these legendary cars, legendary drivers, top-tier model makers,
Mm-hmm.
and the personal connection of your collection.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of factors.
It really is. And honestly, that's what makes it tricky to put an exact price on any of this without actually seeing the models and their condition. Photos help, but there's nothing like seeing these things in person.
Right, right. Okay, so then what about, so you've got a Tamiya Lotus you put together yourself. What about models like that? Does the fact that it's been, lovingly assembled impact its value at all?
That's a great question. And honestly, that's where sentimental value and market value might not see eye to eye. Like a beautifully built model, that's awesome. It shows your passion, your skill. But in terms of increasing its monetary value, probably not in the same way a pristine factory-made model would.
That makes sense. So where do we even start to figure out what this collection might be worth?
Yeah.
I mean, where do people even, is there a model car marketplace?
Well, online auction platforms and collector forums are your best friends in this game. Seriously, start browsing, look for similar models, and pay really close attention to those factors we've been talking about.
So it's less about finding an exact match and more about getting a feel for, the ballpark these cars are playing in.
Exactly. Remember, the value of anything is really what someone is willing to pay for it on any given day.
This has been an amazing deep dive. Who knew model cars could be so fascinating? And honestly, I feel like we've only scratched the surface here.
We really have, but hopefully this gives you a good starting point on your own deep dive into this world.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, get out there, start exploring, and you never know, you might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.